Yo, what's good? It's your boy Dot from Domino Coaching and Entertainment for coaching my links hard down below. I have several different spiritual readings down below: galactic Akashic readings, soul Akashic readings, astral divination sessions, basic spiritual life coaching, man, spirit guide readings. I have different healings down below. Man, I have angel advice, fairy advice. It's so much stuff down below. Go check me out. You know what I'm saying? Um, I have a Patreon down below too. The Patreon is oh so saucy. If you're not on there, I ain't gonna lie, you kind of missing out. Now, granted, if you can't get it, I understand. If you can get it, I'ma just say you might want to get that, John, because a lot of y'all missing out on some real powerful sauce. But hey, it is what it is. I still drop sauce on YouTube. Um, I have an astral projection course down below. A lot of y'all want to astral project, and I'm telling you that course is gonna get you right. Like literally, like that course, that don't go into the ins and outs. You'll never have sleep paralysis ever again, bro. You could go straight to the astral every single night. You could train your body to always be inside that state. I literally teach you guys how to make your own method. I give my method, and I also teach how to recondition your body to naturally astral project anyway. It's so much so. It's way more than just that though. Go check out that course. It's fire. But yeah, Instagram down below. All social media is down below. Discord down below. Everything's down below. If I sound a bit congested or off, I did go through like a minor quote unquote sickness that came from an upgrade that I recently got. I broke that down on my Patreon inside the video about curses and stuff like that. I made a video about curses, a different spiritual assassins episode about how to break curses according to the Amyi. Like I said, Patreon be getting mad sauce, bro. But it's time for YouTube sauce, right? And real quick, drop a like on this video because I'm sharing some sauce. Subscribe if you're new. If you don't like the video, I don't understand why you wouldn't do that equal energy exchange. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you support the video, you'll be supported inside your life. If you don't support the video, it may be a bit harder for you to be supported inside your life. So, why not add some support to your life by just hitting that like button real quick and subscribing if you're new? Now, with this video, right, we are going to cover the mind because the mind is actually very misunderstood by many different people, right? I actually challenge you guys right now to go in the comment section and to tell me what the mind is. Because I got taught about the mind from Arcturians, right? And also various different spiritual systems too, beyond the Arcturians. And it's like people define the mind in so many ways, which is why we're gonna really clear up what the mind really is. So I'm gonna give you guys the time. Comment down right now. What is the mind? All right, pause the video if you ain't comment yet. If you don't want to comment, it's cool. And don't wait till you hear what I say with the mind is to comment your answer. You know what I'm saying? I want to see how people define the mind on their own. But if you don't want to comment, it's cool. But hey, I recommend comments just to see where the understanding's at, right? But I'm gonna define the mind right now. The mind is simply just a group of information. Simple as that. Now, what is your mind versus like the mind? You see, your mind is a group of information that you just tend to identify with. Now, the mind, right, is a group of information, and as simple as that. Now, it would literally be the whole entire omniverse, right? I made a YouTube video about the omniverse, about what the omniverse kind of is, but I broke it down really in depth, like how the omniverse even got made on my Patreon, along with the 12 planes and how the 12 planes truly make the omniverse. I broke that shit down on Patreon, bro. It's so saucy over there, bro. If you don't got the Patreon, bro, you missing out. But yeah, the omniverse is like the greater mind. Like that is like the true mind, right? It's essentially the mind of God, where God or source expresses all of its information. So you're walking inside the mind of God or the mind of source. You're walking inside of all the information of source when you're inside the omniverse. And when you leave the omniverse, you go back to source. I broke this down so good on my Patreon, so go check that out. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's what the mind is not. The mind is not your awareness. Your awareness is simply your ability to perceive and observe life. And then your consciousness, right, comes from your awareness. You know what I'm saying? Conscious, being conscious is a certain state of awareness. When you are aware of something, you are conscious of that thing. When you are aware of your own self, you are conscious of yourself. You're a true conscious being when you are aware of your own awareness. That is true consciousness. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I could have this hand sanitizer inside my awareness, right? But if I'm not aware that the hand sanitizer is truly inside my awareness, I'm not conscious of it. Like there are many things right now that are inside your awareness, but you're not aware of the different things inside your awareness. Therefore, you're not conscious of everything. You know what I'm saying? Like there's energy all around you, which you could tap into. But until you tap into it, you're not conscious of it. You see what I'm saying? So your awareness is your ability to perceive. And your consciousness is when you become aware of your own awareness. Now, this actually forms your intellect, right? What is your intellect? Your intellect is the faculty within inside of you which is able to reason and compare information. Essentially, it is what allows you to think. See, people think that the mind is your intellect. No, your intellect is what thinks. Your mind just holds information. You see what I'm saying? And the thing is, your intellect can only think based out of your own intelligence and information, which is inside of your mind. You see what I'm saying? So that's what the intellect is. It's something that thinks based upon the information and intelligence which you identify with and hold with inside your mind. Now, your mind is also not the brain. Your brain is the organ which processes intelligence. So your brain can actually process the information inside your mind and it also helps to process your intellect. But they are not the same exact thing. You see what I'm saying? So, how does your soul. Oh, let me say this also. What is intelligence? Your intelligence, right, is your ability to know something. Now, someone may say it's also your ability to act out this knowledge, but technically that's more about your willpower. You see what I'm saying? But intelligence and willpower are just two sides of one. It's like two different sides of one pole. You see what I'm saying? So willpower is the action, intelligence is the knowledge, right? So it's like your mind, right, is kind of a group of intelligence and information. You know what I'm saying? Because information is pretty much what you know, which comes from your intelligence. You see what I'm saying? And then also you have your memory, right? Your memory is pretty much just stored information from the past that is with the side of your mind. You see what I'm saying? So, how does your soul affect the mind? You see, your soul, right? Oh, how does your soul and spirit affect the mind? So, your soul, right, is your awareness, right? Which holds information that is relevant to this life. I'm going to explain that a bit more. Your spirit is the energy behind your soul, which is eternal and actually exists inside various timelines and realms. So let's really explain this, right? Not fault for the sniffles, bro. I explained it on Patreon, bro. I don't want to hear the shit. Anyway, also, actually, I'll explain this later. When it comes to your spirit, right? Your spirit, right? Your eternal spirit exists on a 7D level, right? You know what I'm saying? Now your soul exists on a 5D level. If you look at my series called Reawakening to Your Spiritual Nature, I broke down the eternal spirit versus the soul, but I also get really in depth on Patreon in my video about the 12 planes or my PowerPoint about the 12 planes and how all the planes relate to different aspects of you. So on that 7D level, right, your spirit is eternal, right? It's this eternal infinite energy, right? Now, when it wants to manifest itself into time and space, it has to split off a part of its spirit, right? And then this split off becomes your soul. Inside the 6D, you have the part of your spirit which actually crafts out your timeline and it puts together different information from your spirit in order to make your soul. So your soul kind of comes with its own mind, which manifests on a 4D level. So your soul, right, the awareness is on the 5D level, and then the mind is on a 4D level. But the information inside that mind comes from the 6D. because your 6D self makes the different timelines. It makes the information that this soul is going to carry, because like inside this lifetime, right? Your soul is observing this life, but in a different timeline, there's a different soul. There's a different awareness that's observing that timeline. Inside of a whole different realm, you could be over there also, but it's a different soul. It's a different point of awareness. And inside this lifetime right here, your soul naturally holds certain information which is important for this lifetime. So right now I'm a human, so I have human information. If I'm inside of a fucking dragon realm, I'm gonna have dragon information. You see what I'm saying? So hold on, I'll be right back. All right, cool. I'm gonna also explain how to. I'm going to also explain how to expand your mind. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, right? So yeah, your dragon self is gonna hold like dragon information. Your human self holds human information, and this is all stored inside your soul. You know what I'm saying? Which is where the mind comes from. So it's like all this information from your spirit that goes into your soul is what actually goes into making your mind, which is usually only based upon what the character identifies with. I'm saying that because your soul, right, could hold a whole bunch of information, which right now you don't fully tap into. For example, before I knew my past lives, right? I didn't tap into the Lyran stuff, the Arturian stuff, but that information was already inside my soul, which came from my spirit. But because I didn't identify with that type of stuff yet, I could only think based out of the information which I identified with, which could have came from my parents, it could have came from different books that I read, it could have came from my memories, different experiences from this life. You know what I'm saying? And it's like as you expand your mind, you have access to more information because your mind is just one small part of the greater mind, right? Like your spirit has a whole bunch of information you could tap into. You know what I'm saying? However, you could also expand beyond your spirit and go to your oversoul. Or you could go to your omni soul. You know what I'm saying? Or you could tap into fucking complete source in the absolute and just download everything from there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when it comes to your mind, right? Like I said before, your mind exists on a 4D level, right? I break down the 12 planes on my Patreon. Once again, I'm going to keep on saying that because that shit is fire as fuck. But I'm saying this because when it comes to your mind, right? People's mind is very limited based upon like their beliefs. You see what I'm saying? Like your beliefs don't really mean that much because like it's a certain point where it's like fuck belief. We have understanding and knowing. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really believe in shit. I just understand certain things. Like for example, you don't believe that 1 + 1 equals 2. You just understand that 1 + 1 equals 2. Now, somebody may say, no, 1 + 1 equals 57. You could believe that. But in the grand scheme of truth, that belief does not fucking matter. So your beliefs actually limit you due to the fact that your beliefs often come from a limited amount of information. If you were to expand your mind, you will literally realize that there's truth and fallacy with the side of everything, and you would understand how to properly operate with the side of these different things. You see what I'm saying? So it's like with true understanding, right? You don't really have beliefs. And your character, right? Your ego, your character, really your ego is your attachment to your character. You see what I'm saying? And that attachment could come from being attached to your beliefs. Like until you hit a 5D level, when you're truly observing shit and understanding shit, you're always gonna act from ego. You know what I'm saying? Facts. Like, let me rephrase that. Well, that's true. You're always gonna act from the character. You know what I'm saying? And if you haven't hit the 5D level yet, it's gonna be ego because until you hit 5D, you're gonna be attached to the character in the way that it thinks. You see what I'm saying? But all of these thoughts are based upon certain information, which is oftentimes limited by what you identify with. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying this because the biggest way to expand the mind is to identify with more than this character. And I'm saying that because if you identify with more than your character, right? Like if your name is freaking Sally, right? You're more than just Sally. You would at least need to first tap into your soul. Your soul, right, is on a 5D level. You tap into your soul by observing your own awareness. Now, once you do this, right, once you observe your own awareness, you can now literally see what information this awareness holds. It could be different past life things. It could be different spiritual understandings. And it's like as you get higher on the 60 level, you start to see how this soul was crafted and why the soul was crafted inside this way and what the highest timeline for this soul actually is. And then on a 70 level, you would have access to all the information from all of your past, present, and future lifetimes. So that alone would give you way more information than you tend to hold as a character that is living on Earth. But you could also expand to the 8D Oversoul. And at that point, you would have the access to information of everybody inside your Oversoul. On a 9D level, you would get access to number one, the Akashic records of everybody. Like for so if it's just the AD, right? Mainly what you would get is simply just like in like let's say like so you have me, my boy Cash, my boy Layton. They're in my oversoul, right? On an 8D level, I could tap into them and understand what they're going through right now and like what their common thoughts are and like what their common feelings are and stuff like that. But if I want to access all their past, present, and future lifetimes, I have to go to 8 through 9D. You see what I'm saying? And then once I hit the full 9D, you can now tap into the Divine Omniversal template and start to download information. You can literally download all the information inside the Omniverse, right? Or inside of the manifested Omniverse. What I mean is the fact that you see, like, you still have Godheads on the 10D, but it's like not all their information manifests inside the lower planes of the Omniverse. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, when it comes to 11D, right? That's the infinity plane. Now, all the information inside infinity is not expressed with inside of the universe, right? But on the 9D level, you'll get access to all the information which is expressed inside of the omniverse or inside of the universe. You see what I'm saying? And also it will be the universe, multiverse, and metaverse. You see what I'm saying? Because the universe is 1 through 3, then it's 3 through 5 with the multiverse, 5 through 7 with the metaverse, and then 7 through 9 with the megaverse. So you would have access to all that shit. Now the superverse would be a bit different. You would have to go higher to the 10D, 11D, and 12D and stuff like that. And I actually explained what it's like to ascend through these different consciousnesses on my Patreon. Like how when you hit what first density or density 5 through 6 or purely 6 or 7 through 8 or purely 8. You see what I'm saying? I break down all this shit. You know what I'm saying? But this is why Sadhguru oftentimes says that he lost his mind because he does not identify with any information. He's just open to everything. Like me, right? I try not to identify with anything because when you identify with something, you're going to make a character out of that. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I'll identify with is source. And because of that, I clearly gain the information of source. And I can see the truth inside everything. And I have the highest understanding. And let me tell you this, when you have true understanding, you can't get mad or annoyed, nothing like that. And I'm going to explain why. If you truly understand a person, right, you don't get mad at them because you understand why they're acting that way. You see what I'm saying? Like inside my life, bro, I thought I was smart as shit. Granted, I am smart as shit, but in the grand scheme of everything, I'm actually quite the fucking dumbass. Because when it comes to infinity, right, there is infinite knowledge and experience, right? Whatever I know and will ever know is a tiny smidge of that. Now, people call me smart. I appreciate that. But before, I thought I was really fucking smart. Now, how is it that I was smart, but I was getting mad at people for dumb shit? I'm getting mad at fucking friends, family, acquaintances, people around me because They believe certain things and they're acting in certain ways, which I thought that I understood, but I really didn't. Because with true understanding, right, you don't just understand their thoughts, you also understand why they're meant to have those thoughts. As a person who could read somebody else's soul, you can literally see how some people are meant to be like Muslims. Some are meant to be Hindu. Some meant to be Christian. There's a reason why everybody is how they are. And it's like with some people, you might be meant to shift their mindset. But you won't know this unless you truly understand them, their soul, and what their journey is. And you can't understand that if you're limited by your own character and beliefs. You would have to expand. And like you could understand if you get to the 9D, you could understand everybody's path. You know what I'm saying? Whether they're inside your oversoul or not. Because the 9D contains all the information within inside the universe, multiverse, metaverse, and megaverse. So it's like your soul and other people's souls and spirit, they all exist inside of that 5 through 7D level. You know what I'm saying? Which is the metaverse. So it's like if you hit 9D, you can access all that information and literally see a person's whole entire path for their life and what the perfect path for them is. And with some people, you'll see that, holy crap, I need to help them with this belief. Other people are just meant to be a certain kind of way, and you're not supposed to change them whatsoever. Some people you're meant to like work with. Like there's actually people, right, who don't hold the same understandings as me, but I could talk with them as like a regular person, and it's always good. I couldn't do that before because I was so pressed on expressing my understandings, which at first were just beliefs. You know what I'm saying? Before I just had beliefs without understanding. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I would always want to share my beliefs, but I had to realize that there's no point in that because, especially because oftentimes your beliefs are going to change anyway. You know what I'm saying? What you believe right now could change when you're fucking 20 years old. I mean, 20 years in the future. That's what I meant to say. It could, like 20 years in the future, you're probably going to believe in different shit. You know what I'm saying? And you'll have way more wisdom, which breeds understanding. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you have certain understanding and the more understanding you gain, you kind of just know how to interact with everybody. Like literally, I can interact with a Muslim, a Christian, a Buddhist, and it could always be cool. But if I'm too focused on imposing my thoughts and beliefs on them, it's gonna create this conflict. You know what I'm saying? This is something that I have been really big on inside my life as I've obtained more understanding. And it's actually something that I help various different clients with. Like I've had people book a call with me and stuff like that, and they're struggling with. I've had people book a call with me, right? And they're struggling with dealing with certain people, but it's only because they're not understanding that person. After that call, they would go back like, yo, shit's been way better because you could like believe it or not, right? We have not to sound like Kamala Harris, but we have she always says this that we have way more in common than we do have different, you know what I'm saying? That's true. We have way more in common than what separates us, you know what I'm saying? And you can't just let ideology separate you, you know what I'm saying? When you understand certain stuff, you understand what ideology has truth inside of it, what parts may not have truth inside of it. You also understand why people even hold those ideologies. Because if some people weren't Christian, they would be fucking assholes. If some people were not Muslim, they'd be fucking assholes, and that's a fact. A lot of people are not assholes because they have a religious system, which they can be like, oh my god, they're being controlled, but it's like shit. Y'all don't be understanding that something like I met people right who in past lives was cursing motherfuckers, and guess what? Now they're Christians inside this life. And that's a good thing. Because if they had the same mindset from their past lives, they would be fucking cursing niggas. Like a lot of y'all don't really understand how deep it gets with ideologies and beliefs. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to that's only a 4D level. There are 12 planes and 12 densities, which I explain on Patreon very in depth. I explain all the 12 planes. I explain how you ascend. I explain how to ascend up the densities. I explain how those planes make the omniverse. I explain so much shit about it, and it's like the mental plane is just the 4D. So if you're still stuck on like having your own individual mind and your own beliefs, you're only on the 4D level. You know what I'm saying? You got to hit 5D to have true understanding. You know what I'm saying? Once you hit that 5D, that is when you access past lives too, because now you can literally observe your own soul and then see what information is stored inside your soul. And as you observe your own soul, you're observing this small piece of your spirit, which will link to your higher 7D spirit, and then you can see all your past, present, and future lifetimes. A lot of people cannot even see their past lives because you're limited by their own thoughts and ideologies. You see what I'm saying? If you're limited by your mind, right? You're stuck as a character. This character is only one of many. Once you break beyond your beliefs and your mind, you gain true understanding, which will let you actually observe your past lives too. So, not to say that if you can't get past lives, you're not 5D, but nigga, if you haven't hit 5D, you can't get your past. I'm sorry, but you can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the block. Like, the block is that you're still identified with this mind and this character, which is ego. You're identified with the character, its ideologies, its beliefs, its mindsets. And that's why with all my clients, right? I be helping them to tap into their past lives by making them ascend beyond their mind. You get to a point where you just literally observe your soul. You could just ask yourself questions or just observe different parts of yourself and just know where the fuck you've been at in past lives. It's actually not that hard. Like, that's why now I could just see everybody's past life. I could see all my past lives. It's really not that hard. You know what I'm saying? It really is not that hard. But you must ascend beyond your own mind. You know what I'm saying? So to expand your mind, you must identify with the soul and then tap into your higher spirit and then tap into the oversoul and then tap into the divine universal template and tap into the omni soul and tap into source. These different levels expand your mind to the point where it's like there is no difference between your mind and the outer mind because it's all the same shit. Like, a lot of y'all may think you're in tune with source, right? But y'all not acting like source. Like, do you think that source would be mad if somebody didn't believe their beliefs? Do you think that source would be upset if they got wronged inside this life? Even if you got cursed. Let's say you got cursed, right? Do you think source would actually be mad? No, source would understand why it happened and also how to get rid of the curse. Speaking of curses, I broke this shit down on my Patreon inside a 127-minute video. And there's going to be a part two as well, how to break curses, on my spiritual assassins class as a Patreon exclusive. But I'm saying all this because it's like, if you were really in tune with source, right? Source is not emotional. Emotions are only I actually told my man this the other day about how emotions are only a 2D level. Like, when you when like if I say that something isn't sitting right inside my spirit, that's not emotional. That's just a certain knowing that my spirit is saying do this. Like, if you're confused, right? That's not coming from your spirit is never confused. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all confuse your emotions for your spirit. Your spirit's not emotional. It just understands certain shit and moves accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit is actually very clear inside of life once you let go of your beliefs and your thoughts and the emotions which are created by these thoughts and beliefs. You see what I'm saying? Like, once you expand your mind, you don't even experience certain emotion because you don't have the thoughts and beliefs for that emotion. You see what I'm saying? Like, I made a video about feeling misunderstood, right? And inside that video, I mentioned how if you feel misunderstood, you just don't understand yourself. Facts. 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 Watch the video if you don't know what I mean. I'm pretty sure it's under my reawakening to your spirit. I'm pretty sure it's under my video about reawakening to your spiritual nature. You know what I'm saying? If you feel misunderstood, you just don't understand yourself. And that's facts. Because once you understand yourself, you move accordingly, and you also know how to make others understand you. But you'll also be aware of what people cannot understand you, and you won't be mad about it. You'll just understand that this person is this kind of person and they can't understand certain stuff. And that's completely fine. Once again, do you think Source would get like a lot of motherfuckers be acting like y'all God inside the Bible? A wrathful God who's jealous and must listen to me. That's not how Source is. Source is very impartial. Source does not care about a lot of shit. Source is just chilling. You know what I'm saying? So if you really had that awareness, you would not be tripping over certain people, certain situations, you know what I'm saying, certain beliefs and ideologies. You would just understand shit a lot more, you know what I'm saying? So watch this video right here, right? If you feel misunderstood and that you can't be yourself, because I used to feel like I couldn't be myself. I have clients who hit me up saying that, like, yo, bro, like, when I'm around my friends and stuff like that, I don't feel like myself. Nigga, watch this video. Because once you watch this video, you'll understand that, okay, nigga, you might need some new friends, or you might need a better way of connecting with people, or you might just need to communicate. You might just need to communicate yourself better. Like in two senses. Number one, it could simply just be that around certain friends, you don't have to express certain shit. Like when I first became spiritual, right? I wanted to express that shit to everybody. Now I don't do that shit. I have friends that understand that I'm spiritual, but we don't always talk about that type of shit. Cause I have like you are an infinite being that has infinite characters, bro. You're not just this spiritual person. That's a fucking ego. I'm this spiritual person. That's a character that you're attached to. You can act in any fucking way. So around some friends, I'm not always on my fucking and I'm fine with that. I actually like not always being like that. Like sometimes motherfuckers be taking shit too serious. It's not that fucking deep. You could have fun without expressing that side of yourself with certain people. So it's like sometimes you just need to number one, stop trying to force this one character inside of this lifestyle. But then also number two, sometimes you just don't communicate your beliefs correctly. Like some people want to communicate their beliefs and they're not even saying the full truth anyway, and that's why niggas don't understand you because you're not being clear with your communication. So there's so many layers to this, which is why I recommend watching this video also. But long story short, right? Your mind specifically is a group of information which you tend to identify with. You see what I'm saying? That's all that your mind is, and it's like if you want to tap into the greater mind you need to become aware of your soul, your spirit, and even higher, eventually becoming source. You see what I'm saying? Once you do this, you don't get mad at people. You understand life way more, and stuff is real cordial. You know what I'm saying? It's real cordial and copacetic. You know what I'm saying? I promise you. I'm speaking from experience. This is coming from the guy who used to hate everybody, and now I love everybody. And I also understand how to interact with everybody. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Of course, some people, like if you're a Satanist, I could talk to you, but I probably don't want to. I don't want that energy around me. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you'll just know how to move off your spirit, and it won't be emotional. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. With that being said, I love you all. I'm gonna catch you in my next video, and yeah, peace out.